Friends, I wanted to make a little video for all of you out there who are struggling to pray and are finding it difficult to pray. I'm entitling this little video "Fighting Distractions" because it seems to be the thing that most people, when talking about prayer, they struggle with distractions and not able to keep attention on one thing. I was reviewing a book. I didn't read it to its completion, but it's a book called A Stolen Focus by Johann, I think it's pronounced Hari or Harry, Hari. The book Stolen Focus, subtitled "Why We Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again." And the author, makes the argument that, smartphones have really changed the way our brains work. And when we talk about prayer, prayer is mental, and when you talk about distractions are mental. So smartphones have, especially if you're using apps that involve the scrolling, right? So like if you go to Facebook News or just Facebook feed, you generally scroll to see information. And a lot of apps use this feature. Well, you can scroll through a lot of information in a very short period of time, and your brain is constantly changing what it's focusing upon. I mean, I don't remember what the study that he referred to in the book, but literally, maybe every quarter of a second, our brain is changing what it's focused on through this act of scrolling. And so if in fact smartphones have affected us in this way, you can imagine when you sit down to pray how difficult that's going to be, because it's hard to pay attention to any topic for any significant period of time without trying to think of something else. So I don't think that there is any question that not being able to focus on a topic, to give one's full attention to a topic, and in this case, prayer, to pay attention to God, to pay attention to Jesus Christ, to pay attention to His Word, or whether it's praying the rosary and paying attention and focusing on the virtues of a saint, Mother Mary, that is going to be very difficult to do if our brains are conditioned to constantly changing its focus. I read an article today that there's a group of students at the university, or the Franciscan University of Steubenville, that are giving up their phones for the spring semester. And they reported that one of the things that they've been able to do is to concentrate and to pray more when they don't have their phones around. And it's obvious, this phone that I'm looking at right now as I'm shooting this video, has really has a plethora of things to distract us with, and so if you're going to pray, dealing with this little item right here is going to be one of the most important things that you do. But first, I just want to give you 3 steps to fighting distractions. 3 steps. First, you've got to become mentally aware of where your mind is. Okay? It's not only hopping from one topic to another when you're scrolling. but it's also forgetting topics. So you don't realize it, but when you are thinking about topics constantly, scrolling through topics, you're also forgetting the last topic that you had on your mind. So forgetting is a part of scrolling as well. You pay attention to one, you forget the last. You pay attention to another, you forget the last, right? So this scrolling, and I like to call it almost like a monkey brain, kind of hopping around from topic to topic. You've got to become mentally aware of that first. So that's the first step, is to become mentally aware that you are in fact doing this. This whole idea of forgetting whatever you just were thinking about. I'll just give an example. Have you ever made up your mind to do something? So a thought comes to your mind, and you go, "Oh, I got to do that. I have to grab my phone and look and see where that restaurant is, or I have to grab my phone and I have to buy this on Amazon." And as soon as you pick up your phone and you look at the screen, you have forgotten why you went to your phone. That is an example of how our brains are been conditioned and wired to just be changing constantly. I'll be open. Maybe I'm showing the first signs of Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that, but I think it's more than that. I think it's literally the brain. Our brains have been conditioned to just constantly jump, look new information, scroll through. So let's go out to eat. I'm gonna look up the restaurant. Pick up my phone, I'm looking up the restaurant. No, I pick up my phone, I look at the screen, and I've forgotten what I came to the phone to do. That's crazy, right? It's insane, but you put in the comments whether it's happened to you. So, the first thing you need to do is to become mentally aware. Become mentally aware that your brain, you're thinking all sorts of things constantly. Secondly, when you want to spend some time in prayer, disable your phone. Okay, and you can do this in a lot of different ways. I mean, you can turn the volume off with the switch so that it makes no noises while you're trying to pray, silencing your phone, or turning your phone off, or at least just turning it upside down, turning it over so you can't see the screen and it's silence, so you can't see any flashing lights or anything like that, and put it more than arm's length away from you. Okay, so those things, become mentally aware. Second, disabling your phone. Those first two steps will help you immensely in entering into prayer and fighting distractions. Very simple steps. The third step is, which you're going to find extreme, probably very odd, but I have found it very helpful in being focused in my prayer. And that is to pray out loud. Pray out loud. Use your mouth. Make sounds. Let the prayer come in your ear and hear it. I remember when I was trained by monks, by Benedictine monks, they always said to pray with the scriptures out loud. The practice of Lectio Divina, or praying with the scriptures. They said, do your Lectio Divina out loud. And I always found that odd. And in fact, when I spent time in a monastery, I never was able to do it and never did it, and thought it was actually kind of stupid. Why would I do that? I don't need to make sounds to pray. I can just pray in my head. But no, it really does help, and especially what's happened in the information age with the scrolling of the phone. I find praying out loud helps me stay focused on one topic. So, pray out loud. It certainly helps minimize the monkey brain that I talked about, of your jumping from topic to topic. If you pray in silence, you're left with this battle of the thoughts in your head, okay? So if you're praying in silence, there's nothing preventing all sorts of thoughts from coming into your head. In my experience, I've rarely walked into a chapel or into a church where someone is sitting in silence and they're praying out loud. It's not a common practice. And so I told you, it's gonna feel odd to you, but I have found it very helpful. So for all of you who pray the Liturgy of the Hours, the Divine Office, pray it out loud. I mean, as monks, we always prayed it out loud. We sang it out loud with our brother monks. And I never recognized the value of that. I always thought it was a communal prayer. That was good, that we did it together. But the praying out loud helped us pay attention as well. If you pray the rosary out loud. You'll find, and I have found, that I can pay attention to the mysteries. I can pay attention to what I'm saying. And even when I do, wander off and my mind does go somewhere else, my mouth is making sounds, and all of a sudden I think for that moment, oh, what am I saying? Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. I'm paying attention to those words. Now, by praying out loud, I don't want to dismiss the idea of praying in silence. I mean, yes, silence has a place. In fact, if you're praying out loud, it's going to move you to appreciate the silence, actually. But we have to kind of train our brain. We got to train our brain from hopping from topic to topic to topic to get focused on one topic. I often hear critique of praying the rosary. Oh, you're just saying the same thing over and over again. Well, you're just thinking, when you're sitting in prayer in silence, you're just thinking about many things, just going from one thing to another. You're scrolling, right? And if you are capable of praying and sitting in silence, oftentimes you have been thinking about a multitude of things. And maybe you have paid attention to God, to the Lord's Word, maybe for a fraction of that time. So praying out loud will help you pay attention to the thing that you're trying to pay attention to, and that's our Lord. So I hope that helps you in fighting distractions. Remember, become mentally aware. Number one, become mentally aware of what your brain is doing, where your thoughts are going, how quickly your thoughts are changing, and how quickly you're able to forget one thing that you were thinking about just 5 minutes ago, and you're already on to something else. Also, disable your phone. Second step, disable your phone. And third, pray out loud. And I think if you incorporate these 3 steps into your time of prayer, you are going to find that your prayer is more fruitful. You're going to feel that you have encountered the Lord, and you're going to actually start to experience the effects of prayer. The effects of prayer, of that communion with God, of that conversation with God, that you are going to receive more peace. Okay? Because you are focusing on the one thing that matters, as Jesus said to Mary Magdalene. We're sitting at the feet of Jesus. She was focusing on the one thing that mattered. And so, all right, hope that helps you fight distractions. Become mentally aware, disable your phone, and pray out loud. All right, God bless you all.